Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Musical People and Journeys, a new rock album review show. Welcome. We are reviewing the latest albums from March 2025 and previous. This is episode 14 of 16 album reviews. Go check out the rest of our stuff. If you like what you heard, please hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, leave a comment should you feel the need to, or the want to, or if we annoy you with our comments, if we agree. Why not leave a comment, and they all count for us. Welcome to today's panel, to Lauren, to Chris and to Trish. And of course, big shout out to our missing compatriots, William and Simon, who have voted. What do we mean by voted? Well, we basically rate our albums for our viewing, or not viewing, but listening pleasure, out of 5, see if they get into our Hall of Fame. Today's offering is a band called Everon. It's first time reviewing them and their album Shells. Right, who is going to be the first to come out their shell? Let's go to Trish, shall we? Queen of the Shells. What did you think?
Queen of the Shells. I've been called many things. Now I'm the Queen of a Shell.
Indeed.
Before the Shell. What an interesting opening track to introduce to this band stroke album. A mix of medieval folk singing like something straight out of The Witcher, mixed with some heavy orchestral rock music, which you wouldn't imagine works, but it does so well. And brought a smile to my face because of the surprise it gave me. This is a very different listening album for me, and not something I would normally listen to, but I did enjoy it. I cross it as a whole between Clannad meets Marillion. Favourite track on the album, and was standout for me, was Pinocchio's Nose. This was definitely an interesting listen.
Well, something that's always an interesting listen, and that's Chris. But instead, we're going to go to Lauren. Lauren, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I also got like the kind of vibes in that. I said some of the album, whilst listening to it, was very chill. I really enjoyed that aspect of it because it's something that that I personally haven't seen much in sort of the rock that I tend to listen to. If so, it tends to venture more into the poppy sort of area where the genres get a bit blurred and you aren't quite sure what you're listening to anymore. But yeah, it was very relaxed. Enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the songs that were a bit more ballady and stuff like that because I thought it brought like a nice level of calm to it. I think the balance was ever so slightly off with the amount of it that was there. But then again, you don't want to end up with this whiplash of 1 minute you're ballady, next minute you're ripped into something that's heavy and high speed. So I can see why the decision was made there. But overall, I thought it was produced very well, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Not a massive standout, but something that has got the odd thing that I will go back to. Yeah, for sure.
The odd thing that we always go back to is Chris. Chris, what did you think of Everon and Shells?
I think Trish possibly said the right word for me for this one, which is interesting. So when we were talking about Dawn of Solace on the when in the video review for that, I said that I want a bit more punch to my music, which I do. And Shells doesn't really have that. I think it kind of fits into sort of. I struggle with the definitions for neo and prog rock, but I think it kind of fits around there. And the first sort of few notes I made about this was that it really wasn't my bag. But as the album goes on, I get more and more taken with it. So Pinocchio's Nose, as Trish said, brilliant song. Really like the way they structured that. Really the way they put it together. There's a contrast between the instruments and the lyrics that really worked for me. Guilty as Charged. There's an odd rhythm to that track that I don't quite know whether I really like it or it really winds me up. As I'm going with the really like it because I've written it down as notes. It's just so well crafted, and I can't quite decide whether that's really good or really, and then OCD as well was another standout for me. There was for a genre that I wouldn't necessarily like. There's a lot of good songs in this that kind of grabbed me and took me along for the ride. So yeah, it's an interesting album, this one, just in terms of I don't think I would usually like it, but there's some songs in there that I really do. The rest of it, take or leave. So
I think it's interesting, isn't it, that we harp on about going on this journey and listening to as many types of genres of rock as we can. That that we filtered a few out, because what's the point of giving a song less than an average of one? But this is a very interesting album. It has so much. The lyricism is off the chart. Monsters, where he goes to the door and he's facing his dad, and it's he expected to see the face of a monster, not the face of an old man, and really hinting what obviously horrible things maybe his father did in the past. It was something out of Frank Turner's kind of lyricism, really, from that perspective, and musically. There was a lot of variation in terms of the stuff. It was incredibly, you're absolutely right, incredibly well crafted. But I'll pick up on something that Lauren said, is that it was a little bit samey. I think there was no. I wanted to punch. I wanted a bit more punch in it on some of the songs, really. But that kind of the tempo, in terms of the volume, if you like, in terms of its. There was you're absolutely right. It was I love to. I like a ballad. Well, this was an album full of ballads. There was nothing else in there really other than ballads. And they were really, really good. But I just wanted a little bit. I felt that because of the style of their music, that there was something waiting to punch through that might have elevated it up a little bit. But I thoroughly enjoyed the album. I thoroughly did. It was a beautifully constructed album, and I'm so glad that I did put it on the list, because we've sampled it, and pretty much to a T, everybody actually really quite enjoyed the album. So and I harpen back to some point in terms of Lauren said a couple of episodes about folk core, and it really wasn't quite that, but it was kind of edging towards that a little bit as well, wasn't it? It's a lovely album, wasn't it? Really lovely album. Definitely worth listening to from that perspective. So will it get into our Hall of Fame? Will it get in there? Will it score 4 or more? Trish, let's start with you then. Oh, Trish, we'd have to do some more crowdfunding for that microphone. That microphone isn't. Trish, what a. Obviously, it's not you. It's not you, Trish, is it?
Oh,
it's not you.
God,
It's your technology that needs upgraded, doesn't it? It wouldn't be a
It's
human
not
error.
Upgrading. I gave it a 3.5.
You did. Chris?
I gave it a 3.5 as well.
Will also give this a 3.5. Very good. Simon gives this a 2.5. I give this a 4, and Lauren, if he gave it a 5, wouldn't get into our Hall of Fame. But so, what did you give it?
I gave it a 3.
A 3, indeed. It scored 17.5, a 3.5. For something that's not something in our swim bag, I think generally overall, this was a well-crafted, and I think we all, to a T, even Simon, who give it... Simon actually gave this a 3, sorry, not a 2.5, but we're going to drop his 3, because we've already dropped one of Lauren's, so I'm going to drop in Simon's. A good album. Really good. I think a bit more punch, and I think this might have scored very highly for me, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Hey, why not if you fancy it? If you were to fancy leaving a comment below, please feel free. We'll always reply. And why not hit the subscribe and the like button while you're at it. Goodbye to my wonderful panel, to Trish, to Lauren, and to Chris. Keep on rocking, and thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody!